home, as the polished papers are falling at your feet. So go ahead and snap me, and don't return my call. And build your house on top of easy street. But what you gonna do when it all falls down? 'Cause I let a little rumor spread. What you gonna do when I change the name of the person sleeping in your bed? What you gonna do when I tell the tale that makes the country turn its head? Just a little gossip and just a little lie. I'll simply say the little tramp was just a little spy. And what you gotta do when it all falls down? Hey there, Mr. Chaplin, that act deserves a call. You wave our flag and the country is impressed. But I'm a voice among the crowds, questioning your cause. And I'll spread my doubt among the rest. And what you gonna do when it all falls down? And where you gonna go from there? What you gonna do when the money's gone? And who you gonna buy to care? What you gonna do when the country says, now get yourself out of here? What you gonna paint when you can't paint the town? I'm gonna wipe that smile from that famous little clown. And what's you gonna do when it all falls down? And all the king's horses and all the king's men will never put poor Johnny together again. And what's he gonna do when it all Hi everyone! Welcome to my senior recital. I already welcomed you already, but here we are. Words cannot begin to describe how happy I am that you're all here. It really means a lot and I'm so excited. The theme of the show is called Falling. So every element of it represents the different ways I've experienced that during my time here at BYU. To name a few, falling down, falling in love, falling apart, and eventually falling back into place, whatever that may look like. And that's all I have to say about that. This is falling.
The thing is, this girl, she's honestly unlike anyone I've ever met before. So, what do you think about the guy?
He's not, look, he doesn't even know this girl. And even if he did know her, like really know her, I don't think he'd even want to be your friend. So.
No way that's true.
Listen to me, Steve. It has shocked me to my core. But I like you. I really like you. But I'm not like your other friends. And I'm not like Nancy Wheeler. Do you remember what I said about Mrs. Quick's class? About me being jealous and like obsessed. It wasn't because I had a crush on you. It was because she wouldn't stop staring at you.
Mrs. Cliff?
Tammy Thompson. I wanted her to look at me. But she couldn't pull her eyes away from you and your stupid hair. And I didn't understand because you would get bagel crumbs all over the floor and you would ask dumb questions and you were a douchebag and you didn't even like her. And I would go home and just scream into my pillow.
Tammy Thompson's a girl.
Steve.
Oh? Holy crap.
Holy crap. In my beginning acting class here, one of our first assignments ever was to create and perform a silent solo scene with a clear objective, an obstacle, and an ending. So I had just sprained my ankle, and I was wearing this clunky beige ankle brace, beautiful. So I decided that my scene naturally would be me trying to wrap my ankle in a dark room full of sleeping people. So my goal became sleeping in quietly and getting out without waking anyone. I worked as carefully as I could. I finally finished, and I started making my way out of the room like I was walking through a landmine. But then, right before I reached the door, I tripped and I fell flat on my face, totally bit it, re-injuring myself completely, and then I frantically limped away with whatever dignity I had left. Which is not very much. I wasn't as worried about my own injury. I was far more worried about making anybody else up. So falling flat on your face almost always happens when you don't expect it to. When you're trying your absolute hardest to control everything possible. And falling never turns out to be what you expect, especially when it comes to love.
It's for you, who likely join the angels in a
how we see would be immense if we lived right side left, or even left side right, back side front, or front side back, would shed a better light. Black might just be white, day might just be night, if we knew the truth about each other unsight. The world might just make sense.
So what do you want from it?
I want to be heard. No, more than that, to be understood. To be understood, appreciated. I don't need endless flattery, no one wants that, but I am trying my hardest to please you, to live up to your standards, and I don't think you have the faintest idea of what it's like to feel this way. To be constantly overlooked, ignored, unappreciated.
I know what it feels, what being overlooked feels better than anyone else. You think I don't crave the occasional well done, or aren't you clever, or even just a thank you? I need encouragement and a pat on the back too.
So does that explain then why you keep going to her? I'm not going to say her name. I'm worried if I do I might spit.
Camilla? What's she got to do with anything?
Well, that's what I keep asking myself. What's she got to do with anything? What's Camilla got to do with anything? But obviously she's got a lot to do with everything because you can't leave her alone.
She and her husband are close friends. Not just of mine, but the whole family.
I found your bracelet. The one with your nicknames engraved on it. Fred and Gladys. 3 days before our wedding you gave that to her. And on our actual honeymoon, you wore the cufflinks that she gave you. The interlocking initials are 2 C's, interwoven and obscenely entwined like lovers. And on that very same honeymoon, correct me if I'm wrong, on that very same honeymoon, a photograph of her falls out of your diary, and then later on in the year I find your love letters, page after page after page of the passion I'm not getting from you.
Because you show no interest in me. You refuse to go to Highgrove, or I...
Yes, I refuse to go to Highgrove because she is there. Not just her. Not just her, but the gardens, and the polo, and the hunts, and the boring old philosophers and father substitutes who patronize me and ignore me but love her, presumably, which is why the 2 of you are perfect for each other. So where do I fit in? I'll make it through the auditioned for this MDT program with a song from Wicked, and that show has followed me through the last 5 years of my life, pretty much. There's this one specific song, too. I sang it for the first time in musical scene study. What was that? Anyway. And then again, for junior seminar. Oh no, that was! Just gonna pretend that didn't happen, okay? Okay, well, I was saying that every time I've been assigned this song, it's been me, shaking this nervous, collapsed version of myself. I remember being totally decked out in a velvet black dress, fully greenified, with paint, this long black wig that came down to my waist, this crazy 10-pound cloak that pressed down on my larynx every time I raised my arms. It was awesome. This witch's hat, everything, dressed to the nines. Clutching this broom that I stole from the custodial closet, like my life depended on it. And it was just me using every distractor possible to try and convince everyone that I believed a word of what I was saying. I was trying my hardest to perform this empowerment at a time in my life when that couldn't have felt farther from me. And back then, the song meant one thing to me, which is don't fall. Defy the fall. But the strange thing about falling is that sometimes it's the thing that shows you how to rise on purpose, as cliche as that sounds. And somewhere along the way, I realized this song isn't really about flying. It's about deciding that you're allowed to. And if you decide you're allowed to fly, eventually you have to stop talking about it and actually do something about it. And you stand up, you look out, you can declare yourself. No theatrics, no green paint, no room. That it's okay to say, here I am. I'm the one you're looking for, it's me. And
I had a straight shot at you. I kept